to do that, so we've got it out. Now, fortunately, no one was injured in that fire. There were some folks who were fearing that they would be evacuated because the smoke was so thick in their building. Fire crews urge you to stay clear of those down power lines and call them immediately if you see those arcing power lines, and stay away and stay safe. That is the very latest. Reporting live in Palm Bay, Carl Willis, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
All right, Carl, thank you. Just another illustration of how dangerous those power lines can be.
Boy, and a tip of the cap to the emergency crews as well. The difficult conditions, and they're out there saving lives and saving structures. Let's now go to Fort Pierce, where it's still calm, but maybe just the final few minutes for Cynthia Demas. Cynthia, how's it feeling out there?
Well, it is picking up, just as Severe Weather Center 9 said it would. It is picking up quite a bit. I'll let you monitor our famous palm trees here. They are kicking up in the wind just a little bit. And a few moments ago, we did have a chance to survey some damage. Here's what we found. This is what we're seeing a lot of signs that have been knocked down like this. You see that those have totally disappeared. Here, trees were snapped like toothpicks. A dangerous light here dangled over the road as Francis came from every direction. Now, this is one of the eerier sights we've seen. We can't get very close to it because of this gate right here. But take a look at this palm tree. It fell, it snapped right in half, and it crashed right into this pool. The pool looks like it's completely black because no one knows what's in there now. There's probably a lot of stuff that fell on the bottom of that pool. The water's black. This tree is completely snapped in half and is laying in the pool right there. Now, we did see a lot of power poles and things. Anything of wood like this had no problem just snapping in half. Water is continuing to fill the area as Francis still cannot be stopped. And more than anything that we're seeing in the area is debris like this all over the road. It is scattered everywhere you look. It's going to be a really hard time for cars to get through. This stuff is absolutely everywhere. And some pretty decent wind gusts right here in Fort Pierce as we prepare for what we like to consider as phase 2. We got a little break there when we were at the northern tip of the eye. Things were calm, starting to pick back up as we get the other half of Francis coming our way. Live in Fort Pierce, Cynthia Demas, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
And we showed the radar during Cynthia's shot there. Thank you, Cynthia, and again, stay safe. It is coming. You can see it. You can see where she was right there in Fort Pierce, and here it comes, just ever so slowly, and we just know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of what minute it does.
All right, now we can see George Estevez. He is live in Osceola County, where the big problem there and big concerns about the flooding, because those folks already got a big hit from Hurricane Charlie. George?
Vanessa, you're not kidding. I know Jody Fleischer was up just a few minutes ago, and she showed you the water on the side of the road in BVL. That's a huge concern. I know Cynthia was down there, and she talked about having a break and now picking up again. Well, that break she had, well, it seems like we're getting the front of that right now. It's completely different now than it was just a couple of hours ago. We took a little break and we headed back outside because the trees were really swaying, the palm trees were really going, and I want to go ahead and just first of all describe the ground that's sopping wet with water. It wasn't like this. We've been here all night and it wasn't like this earlier. This is a big concern. I'm going to come over here. This is the big concern with Osceola County. You were talking about the flooding. That's huge with East Lake Toho and Lake Toho and Kissimmee. That's the problem. It's going to flood. But over here, this is another problem. I just noticed as well. I was waiting to go up live here. Okay, this is a piece of plywood. This is definitely something I'm going to pick up after I'm done here. That's debris left over probably from Hurricane Charlie. That's the problem throughout Osceola County. So many streets still lined with debris because the city, the county could just not pick it up. Take a look up at that tree. You know, just a few minutes ago, it really was swaying, I promise. But this is just one of the breaks we're talking about. One of the breaks that we've had here in Osceola County where for 10 minutes, it's pouring rain, wind gusts are up to 20, 25 miles per hour, 40, 45, and then it just stops. And currently right now it's stopped, but I can definitely tell you this is not going to be the pattern. It's already starting to pick up, so we're going to continue to monitor this situation. Right now we're in Kissimmee outside the EOC. Live, George Estevez. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you, George. Again, be safe.
Right now we have on the phone with us a spokesperson for Osceola County, Twist Liziswain. Twist, what's the situation there that you want folks who can hear us from Osceola County? What's your message for them this morning?
Well, we want to let them know about the power outages that we are aware of this morning. KUA is reporting 6,600 customers are without power, and OUC is reporting 5,500 customers are without power. Because of the high winds and because they're sustained, we are unable to get crews out to make those repairs, but as soon as those winds die down, then they will get crews out immediately to make those repairs. And we want to let people know that the emergency calls that we're receiving at our 911 dispatch centers, the high winds are causing us not to be able to respond to them. So we're asking that only those individuals that have critical and life-threatening situations to call our center. Already this morning in the city of St. Cloud, firefighters responded to a structure fire at Delaware Avenue. Fortunately, no one was home, and it looks like there was some damage to some of the bedrooms. But that's the type of call that they can respond to, but only if it's life-threatening and critical.
And Twist, how about evacuations in the area? That was such a big issue for you guys. Looking at it now, what can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that we have 3,775 residents in our Osceola County shelters. We're almost at capacity there. And because of the high winds, we are not encouraging anyone else to be out on the roads, especially trying to get to these shelters at this time. We're just wanting to make sure that individuals are staying at home.
All right. Thank you. Twist Liza Swain from Osceola County. The area hit so hard, and so many folks with those roofs, those tarps that we even saw blowing there in Jody's piece. Let's get the latest on what's happening right now. Meteorologist Tom Terry is in Severe Weather Center 9, and lots of colors there behind you, Tom.
That's right, and I want to let everyone know, as you're waking up here across the metro area of Orlando, the tropical storm force winds, the sustained winds of 39 miles an hour higher are now to the airport in Orlando, the international airport. This is the sustained winds that will start to increase further to the north and toward the metro area. Now, we're certainly not going to get the 100-mile-an-hour sustained winds that they've had along the I. That is not going to happen, but we could easily have wind speeds on average over 50 miles per hour here by the lunch hour today. So it will deteriorate rapidly during the day. Latest coordinates on the storm, 27.2, 80.5. That puts the storm onshore now, moved onshore around 1 o'clock in the morning near Stewart. And that's where the storm is located right now. It's going to keep working across the peninsula, moving west basically now, but should be kind of west-northwest. By 2 o'clock today, it will be a tropical storm, Francis. 65-mile-per-hour winds across parts of Polk County. This will be probably in a pretty narrow corridor right there. So I think southern Polk County, northern Highlands County, over the next 12 hours, we'll see the bulk of your wind as this storm moves on by. The rain will continue. They have extended the flood warnings up and down the coast right now because Francis is still dumping lots and lots of rain as she moves on by. This is the current wind field. We have lost all of these readings, at least for the moment, probably due to some wind effects, obviously. You can see the 39-mile-an-hour winds. That is tropical storm force now all the way as far north as Orlando, and it will be moving north as the storm continues to get closer to us. Current wind gusts, 52 at the airport, 46 Sanford. Our peak wind gust with Charlie at the airport was 105. Let's not go there again. We know what happened damage-wise with that. The expected rain, 15 to 20 along the coast, 10 to 15 across the interior. So the locally heavy downpours that you're seeing right now, we will continue to see more of that. Now, we're updating our county-by-county maps based on the latest speed and projection of this storm. Until that time, I want to give you the latest radar update. If you're listening to us on radio now, very heavy thunderstorms. Well, not much thunderstorms. I'm used to thunderstorms now. Very heavy rain squalls from Titusville to Port St. John. That's in central northern Brevard County. They extend westward through Christmas along the Beeline Expressway just to the north of Kissimmee and St. Cloud. These are very heavy downpours. It'll start to get nasty here in the metro area very soon. Let me zoom in toward downtown Orlando. We already have power outages. That little blob right there, those are the buildings being picked up by radar. I've got the radar tilted way down so we can try to shoot as far offshore as possible for our coastal residents. But you can see right there the heavy rain, just sheets of rain coming in across Highway 50 through the Pine Hills area. To the north, it's not that bad. In central and northern parts of Lake County, just some light to moderate rain. Then we get in toward our northern coastline. It's a light to moderate rain from New Smyrna through Daytona, kind of a windy rain, and then a little bit of lightning. But you've noticed there has not been much lightning. We generally do not get much lightning with hurricanes or tropical storms. Everything is way too warm in the atmosphere to really generate much electricity. But as you can see, we are still getting locally heavy downpours for a good part of our coverage area. So still a lot going on. The center of the storm is still way down to the south. And Cynthia Demas, this was kind of neat to watch her report, because she is right here on the northern part of where the strongest winds are. If she were further north towards southern Indian River County, it would have been a much different story with her. But this whole shield of rain that's off the coast is going to move in. So if you're in the Fort Pierce, Port St. Lucie area, Jensen Beach, if you can hear us that far south, you're still relatively calm, but that will be changing over the next 2 hours as this storm continues to make landfall. It's going to be a very wet, windy to breezy day for all of Central Florida. We have not seen the worst of it yet in Orlando, and I think we've got that message out. Get up this morning. If you got to do something outside, be very quick about it and get right back in, because we're going to be watching tornadoes also, guys, later on today. It'll be a busy Sunday for us.
All right, Tom, thank you very much. Going to turn our attention now to something that we were talking about earlier in the week, and that is looting. And sheriffs around Central Florida, as well as Chief Judge Belvin Perry here for Orange and Osceola County, warned that anybody caught looting would not be able to just post bond and get out of jail, but would find themselves cooling their heels during the storm in jail. And we have some reports now, Hiawassee and Silver Star, of looting. That's in West Orange County. Channel 9's Gustavo Almodovar has the latest on that. Gustavo?
Well, deputies with the Orange County Sheriff's Office received the call early this morning. At first, they said they were not going to respond, but because this area is known for burglaries, they thought they'd come and check it out anyway. Good thing they did, because when they arrived, they found about 15 guys looting this menswear store. Deputies say the men tied a rope to a car and used it to yank the door wide open and gain entry. All of the suspects got away except for two, a 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. Deputies say both will be dealt with harshly.
They're going to go to jail. Even though that the weather's bad, we're still out here and we're going to respond to these sort of things. And this is looting. There'll be no bond per Judge Belvin Perry. And so the judiciary's taking it pretty serious, and so are we.
Deputies found the getaway car loaded with piles of clothing. They say they'll continue to monitor the area and respond to other burglary calls as they come in. In West Orange County, Gustavo Almodovar, Channel 9 Eyewitness News.
Well, proof that they were serious about that warning.
And I think they're going to make an example out of the people that they catch, because they did have that executive order and that was put into place. 144,000 people in Brevard County so far at last count are without power this morning.
All right, let's get the latest from Brevard County. Channel 9's